Now let's look at the EU and its Hungarian headache. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban is on the war path again. And his latest target is Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission. Orban's Hungary is the rebel among the EU member states. It's the closest to Russia, distrusts Ukraine and opposes most of the EU's policies on issues ranging from migration to rights for the LGBTQ community. Viktor Orban has been at loggerheads with the EU over all these issues and more.
I am deeply convinced that we must say no to the Brussels model of Europe. We have to say no because it is unsustainable. It has no future. I am convinced that today Brussels is destroying Europe and is leading it to its demise. They put a new nail into its coffin every day.
That speech was from Saturday, a day after Orban announced a quote-unquote national consultation. It's a non-binding informal survey that is going to be circulated in Hungary. Citizens will be asked what they think about several EU policies. The exercise will not have any legal repercussions. It's mostly a message to the European Union that Hungarians stand with Viktor Orban and against them. At least that's what Orban hopes the results will show. And he is sparing no effort to ensure that Hungarians turn against Brussels.
We will resist the crazy ideas of Brussels bureaucrats. We will resist the migrants' invasion. We will resist the gender propaganda, and we will resist the illusions over the war in Ukraine and Ukraine's unprepared EU membership.
Yesterday, these signs cropped up all over Hungary. They show Ursula von der Leyen alongside Alex Soros, son of George Soros, the billionaire behind the Open Society Foundations, or OSF. The Soros family has been accused of meddling in politics in countries around the world. They're known to fund the opposition to right-wing conservative governments, which makes them reviled by Orban and other conservative leaders. Putting Alex Soros next to von der Leyen is a clear message then, that she is also an enemy. Next to their photo is a message in Hungarian. It roughly translates to this: let's not dance to the tune they whistle. This is Orban's latest attack against Brussels, and it specifically targets von der Leyen for the first time. But that's not the only new thing about it. Viktor Orban has done this before with von der Leyen's predecessor, Jean-Claude Juncker. In 2019, Orban had taken out attack ads against him as well. Back then, he put Juncker's photo next to that of George Soros. In 2019, the slogan was this: everybody has the right to know what Brussels is planning. So yesterday's ads were a repeat. Orban is trying to recreate the Hungary versus EU and Soros battle lines, which brings us to the question, why? Viktor Orban says he does not want Brussels to have free rein, not over migration, not over support to Ukraine, or anything really that he disagrees with, which is actually a long list. But despite his grievances, Orban wants the benefits of EU membership. He insists that he will not leave the bloc. Instead, he plans to hamper EU policies and will try and change the group from the inside.
Our task, our calling is that we must prevent it. Our interest is that the Union should remain together. It should remain together as it was so hard to put together. We must not leave the Union, but change it. And it is only possible if radical changes happen in Brussels.
So what do Brussels and von der Leyen think about all of this? Apparently not much. Reports say Ursula von der Leyen was completely unfazed when she heard about the ads. An EU spokesperson later said, and I'm quoting, "Let's be clear. We know this is not the first time. It's probably not the last time. We have business to do. We have crises to manage. We have policies to implement." Which can be translated to, we don't have time to deal with that nuisance in Budapest. Orban may be a perpetual thorn in the EU's side, but is it safe to just ignore him? Because like it or not, he is leading an EU nation. He does have a say, and if he's training his guns on von der Leyen, the EU's unity and any shred of legitimacy are both at risk.